NHL regular season recap, night 132. We kick things off with probably the least important and entertaining game of the night between the Montreal Canadiens and Arizona Coyotes, 8th and 7th in their respective divisions. And despite the run that the Coyotes have been on, this is probably the best chance in a while that they have to break that streak and finally win a game. They've been playing a lot of world beater playoff level teams, and tonight they look to get the win. They outshoot the Canadiens 2-1, but they're not able to get the job done, largely thanks to Sam Montembeault. Joel Armia scores in the first, Jordan Harris and Alex Kerfoot trading goals in the second, Pearson, Bukestad, and Suzuki all scoring in the third, and it's a 4-2 final for the Habs again. Sam Montembeault, the hero in this one for sure. He goes 36 for 38, a .947 save percentage, while Connor Ingram just 17 for 20 for an .850. Just not quite enough from him there. And then, of course, if you're a Canadiens fan, you cannot ask for more from Sam Montembeault in this one. He was phenomenal. 4-2 Habs is the final. The Leafs hosting the Golden Knights after visiting the Golden Knights less than a week ago, and they're looking to continue their stretch of success. But in the first, we have no goals, which is usually not a promising thing for the Leafs. And then in the second, the Knights kind of take over. It's Barbashev, Morelli, Bertuzzi makes it 2-1, and then Carlson makes it 3-1. In the third, we go about halfway through before Jonathan Marchessault makes it 4-1. Ryan Reeves gets his third of the year to make it 4-2, and then Marchessault again and Nick Waugh make it a 6-2 win for Vegas. This is a big one after the way the Leafs took care of them last week. Will Carlson, a goal and an assist. Marchessault, 2 goals and an assist. Shea Theodore, 3 goals in his return. Aiden Hill, really good, a 29 of 31 effort, a .935 save percentage. Not a great night for Samsonov. He goes 26 for 31 for an .839. All in all, this is just a dominant performance from Vegas. The shots just about dead even, but obviously they capitalized much more on their chances than the Leafs were able to. And of course, Austin Matthews didn't score, so there's that for you. 6-2 is the final here, Vegas over Toronto. The Sabres taking on the Florida Panthers, and this was a really good game from both teams, frankly. Buffalo continuing to show strides in the latter half of the season. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to make a stretch into the playoffs, but they do sit in 6th in the Atlantic. As of now, they're not mathematically eliminated, but they have a long way to go if they want to get something done here. Dylan Cousins does get the first goal of the game, but then it's Bennett and Tkachuk both scoring before the end of the first. No goals in the second frame, and then Brandon Montour and Tage Thompson both net one more in the third, and it's a 3-2 victory for Florida. I do not want to play this Florida team if I'm an Eastern Conference team in the first round. They look very strong. Matthew Tkachuk has strided through the second half of the season. Bobrovsky looks fantastic. Sam Reinhart still very good. Bennett, his usual obnoxious sandpaper self. This is just a hard team to play against, and tonight it showed for Buffalo. They outshoot him 37-30. UPL goes 34 for 37, while Bob goes 28 for 30. Both goalies really good in this one. UPL just a shade under a .920 save percentage. Bobrovsky a bit over a .930. 3-2 Florida is the final. The Flyers hosting the Lightning in a battle of two teams in the thick of the Eastern Conference playoff race. And despite the power going out in the first period, the Flyers took full advantage of home ice advantage. Bobby Brink and Nick Paul trading goals in the first and second period, respectively. And then in the third, it's an explosion of offense for the Flyers. Ty Forster, Travis Sanheim, Sean Walker, Steven Stamkos throws one in there as well. And then Noah Cates and Cam York both with the empty netters. And it's a 6-2 final for Philly. Vasilevsky goes just 23 of 29 for a .793 save percentage. Not a good game from him at all. For Sam Ersson, he does just enough for the win. 20 of 22, a .909. You can take that all day when your team scores 6 goals. Looking at you, Cal Peterson. Nonetheless, a huge win for Philly. They extend the gap just a bit between the teams outside the playoffs, and the Metro in particular looking to catch up to them. For Lightning, this is a tough loss. Again, those same teams that are chasing Philly are also chasing Tampa Bay. They're now about even in points. So the Devils, the Caps, the Islanders, the Penguins, all looking equally both now at Philadelphia and at Tampa. The Red Wings hosting the Capitals, and this one got ugly. Shane Gostisbehere and Lucas Raymond in the first. Hendrix Lapierre steals a goal from Ovi in the second, and then Joe Veleno, Shane Gostisbehere, Michael Scarboza, JT Compher all scoring in the second. It's 5-2 Red Wings after 2. Farabee, Pacioretty, DeBrincat, Larkin add a few more in the third, and it rounds out to an 8-3 final for Detroit. This team is humming. The Capitals, meanwhile, I know they're on the back-to-back. I know it's not easy, but not a good effort from them whatsoever. Lindgren giving up 8 goals on 31 shots, a .742 save percentage. Alex Lyon, statistically not a great night either. 18 of 21, but of course, he'll be happy with the 2 points, as the entire Red Wings team will be. Points-wise, a good night from Shane Gostisbehere. He nets 2. Lucas Raymond, a goal and 2 assists. JT Compher, a goal and an assist. Some beautiful play all around offensively by this Red Wings team. Again, they've been playing very well. They dominate the Caps in this one. 8-3 is the final. The Predators taking on the Senators, and as they needed to, the Preds got it done in this one. A big period by Michael McCarron in the first. He scores the opening goal. Roman Josi makes it 2-0, and then Drake Batherson makes it 2-1 before the end of the frame. In the second, Josi gets his second of the game, and in the third, it's Gus Nyquist adding a goal to his 2-assist evening, and it's a 4-1 final in favor of the Preds. Juuse Saros was fantastic in this one. 24 of 25, a .960 save percentage, increasing that trade value. Jonas Korpisalo, on the other hand, not going anywhere. He just stopped 32 of 36 for an .889. That contract is looking rough, by the way. I don't think I've really talked about that all year, but wow, is that not a great signing in the offseason by the Senators. Nonetheless, a 4-1 victory for the Preds. They continue to try to extend the gap in their Western Conference playoff picture, and tonight they add 2 more points to it. 4-1's the final. The Wild hosting the Hurricanes, and this one kind of stings if you're a Minnesota fan. Connor Dewar scores early in the first, about halfway through. Jordan Staal, 5 minutes later, makes it a 1-1 game, and then Jonas Brodin, with just a few seconds left, makes it 2-1, but then goals from Svechnikov and Nason in the second and third period regroup for the Hurricanes, and it's a 3-2 victory for them. Pyotr Kochetkov continues his really good run of late, stopping 28 of 30, while Philip Gustafsson, 25 of 28. Not a terrible game from him, but just not quite enough goal support from his guys to get the job done. This one stings for the Wild. They have a lead once again, and they're not able to hang on to it. For the Hurricanes, continuing to try to make up ground on the Rangers, but the Blue Shirts are not exactly making it easy on them. They'll take the 2 points tonight. It's a rough loss for Minnesota. 3-2 is the final. The Jets hosting the Blues, and it was a pretty active first period and not nearly as exciting the rest of the way through. Sean Monahan, Brendan Dillon, Pavel Buchnevich, who's on the block, and Kyle Connor all scoring. 3-1 Jets after 1. Brandon Saad would make it a 1-goal game about halfway through the second period, but that's the only goal of the frame. In the third, also about halfway through, it's Alex Iafallo with his 8th of the year, and it's a 4-2 victory for Winnipeg. Laurent Brossoit was phenomenal. 36 of 38, while Joel Hofer goes 28 for 32. Just not quite enough from him compared to the Jets' backup goalie. The Jets have been really, really good as of late. Surprise, surprise, they get it done against one of their kind of rivalry teams. The Blues not liking this one, much like is the case for Minnesota in their game. Continuing to try to make up some ground on these teams in the West, but you can't make up ground if you don't get the points, and tonight Winnipeg denies them those points. 4-2 is the final here in favor of the Jets. The Kings taking on the Calgary Flames, and after losing to Edmonton, you'd think this Flames team would be fired up and ready to go for this game tonight, but they kind of lay an egg and lose 4-2 to Calgary. Now, after this win, they're still 5 points up on the Flames, and they still do have a game in hand, but definitely not extending their gap at all on the other teams trailing them in the West. No goals in the first. In the second, it's Deneau, Mangiapane, Coleman, and Fiala all scoring, so it's 2-2 after 2. In the third, though, Sharon Govich with his 21st of the year ends up being the eventual game winner. Michael Backlund adds his 13th of the year on the empty net, and it's a 4-2 final. Cam Talbot was pretty good in this one. He stops 33 of 36. Jacob Markstrom, 21 of 23. Damn near identical save percentages, but the Flames get just a bit more goal support. They get the job done, and they're now within just 5 points of both the Predators and the LA Kings for that final wildcard spot. Are they going to trade everyone? Are they going to keep everyone? Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Who knows? Flames 4-2. Probably the game of the night here, the Avs taking on the Dallas Stars, and it should have been close on paper considering their record, their advanced statistics, all that good stuff. But the Avs rolled the Stars in this one. Logan Stankoven gets his second goal in just his second NHL game, so a cool story there. But from there, it's all Avalanche. Kiviranta and Rantanen make it 2-1 after 1. Cogliano, McKinnon, and Lehkonen all scoring in the second to make it 5-1 after 2. No more goals in the third. Only 14 shots combined between the two teams in that frame. But Alex Georgiev also really, really good in this one. He faces 34 shots, stops 33 of them, including a pounding in the second period where he got outshot 15-6 or I guess his team got outshot 15-6. Nonetheless, the Avs survived that second period storm. They maintain their lead, and it's a big 5-1 win for them. They do still sit third in the division despite this win, but it's a massive mental edge over this team that they're now 3-0 against in the season series. So if this ends up being a matchup, look out to see if the Avs have some kind of swagger going into it, because against the Stars right now, they definitely have it. 5-1 is the final. The Canucks hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins, and this game was a really entertaining one. 2 goals by Vancouver in the first, Niels Höglander and Brock Besser with their 18th and 34th of the season, respectively. In the second, it's Ricky Rax with 2, and then JT Miller with 1 shorthanded. That makes it 3-2 Vancouver after 2. About halfway through the third, Lars Eller ties the game at 3-3. That's the only goal of the third. We go all the way to overtime, which was a beautiful, thrilling back and forth 2 minutes of hockey. Erik Karlsson, off of a ridiculous Thatcher Demko save on Lars Eller, picks up the rebound and pockets it on what was basically a wide open net. But one of the more entertaining minute 45s of overtime we've seen all year. The Penguins get it done in this one. 4-3 is the final. It's a big 2 points for them. They're also still trying to stay alive in the playoff race for the Canucks. Still atop the Pacific Division. They are getting caught a bit by both Vegas and by Edmonton at this point, but not really much concern from their perspective on playoffs in particular. A big win for the Pens. 4-3 is the final. And the final game of the night is actually still going on, but I'm not staying up to watch the end of it, and I'm not waking up any earlier in the morning to cover what is a shellacking from New Jersey right now. Nico Sturm scores the first goal of the game for San Jose in the first, 1-0 after 1 in the second. Jesper Bratt, Jack Hughes, Kevin Ball, 3-1 New Jersey after 2. And as it stands right now, Colin Miller, Brennan Smith, Dawson Mercer, and Nico Hischier have all scored so far in the third. It's 7-1 New Jersey with about 12 minutes to play at this point. Hischier, Meyer, Jack Hughes, Chris Tierney, Andre Palat, John Marino, Siegenthaler have all notched assists in this one as well. It is a full-on points night for the Devils, and this is a game they need. They're trying to get back in the playoffs in their own right. This is a game they should absolutely be winning regardless of what goalie they have in net. You could put a cone in net. It should not matter against San Jose. Right now, it doesn't seem to. We'll see what the final ends up being. I apologize in advance for either Devils or Sharks fans that I'm not covering the entirety of this game, but a 10:30 start for a game that is this ugly, just not happening. That's it for NHL regular season recap night 132, though. I think 132, 131, whatever. We will talk to you guys tomorrow for just the 2 games. Gotta love the NHL schedule makers. Talk to you guys then.